Hello, and welcome to the Stabler and Friends podcast. I'm your host, Stabler, and for this podcast, I won't have any friends joining me, unfortunately. But today I'm running solo for this March Madness bracket special. This is my first podcast I've had since the studio set up. I wanted to give a quick shout out to my wife and my mother, Haley and Tammy. Thank you very much for setting this up. I love it. Got all my little vintage records up here, a decanter with no liquor for now. We'll see how it goes. Few little posters along the way. Anyways, welcome to my studio. It's seriously been almost a year since I've done a podcast. I've actually been looking forward to it quite a bit. Unfortunately with COVID, fortunately for my wife, she got to work from home, but that took up this room for her office. But we are back and ready to get at it. I'm ready to try and start pumping out more sports podcasts. I want to do more podcasts where I'd say it's Joe Rogan style, where I get people from Ogden because I love Ogden. I've grown up here. I've met some of the craziest, best people, and I want to share their stories, BS with them, have some fun. So hopefully I can get a few more people on the show. If you would be interested, reach out to me. You can reach out to me on Twitter at The Real Stabler, and I'll hopefully be able to put a link down. I've been spending a little bit of time trying to figure out how to video edit and make YouTube a little bit more accessible and a little more fun. And I've also spent a lot of this winter watching college basketball. This is only the second year I've ever really been into college basketball, and I've really enjoyed it this year. I feel like I got a grip on it. So what I'm here to do today is I'm trying to get you guys set up so you are ready for your bracket. Brackets need to be in. This is late notice, late video. They probably need to be in by tonight or Friday morning. I'll also post a link if you are a friend of the program, would like to join our bracket pool on ESPN for $10. Just let me know and I'll send you the Venmo link and all that. You can get on in and hopefully win some big money. So basically, I'm going to give you guys a spoiler alert of my entire bracket and how it's going to go. So if you are using the ESPN app, I'm not sure how the other ones are set up, but they should be fairly similar. If you just look at the top left of your bracket, I think this is the West right here. So let's start it off with number one ranked team in the entire tournament of the bracket. That is the Gonzaga Zags. Now, mascots clearly aren't their forte because, I mean, Zags, nobody even knows what that is, right? But hey, what's in a name when all you do is win, 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 no matter what? Gonzaga is the clear front runner, and that's okay if you want to go chalk. If you want to take them, that's great. They're probably going to win it. But a thing to take into consideration, though, is everybody else is most likely doing the same when it comes to this. So if you take Gonzaga, you're also going to have a lot better bracket than everybody else is, get it more correct elsewhere, or else you're going to pick the right winner and still not win any money. I mean, you got Gonzaga. They're led by Jalen Suggs and Drew Timme, and they're trying to be the first team to have a perfect undefeated season since 1975-76 season. That's when Indiana pulled off this feat. This is the deepest team in recent memory. I've convinced myself all season long that it isn't the team to beat because they play in a weak conference. But the more I try and find reasons that they aren't the team, the more that I'm finding that they might actually be the team. And they've played outside of their conference earlier in the season. They played some very tough games and they've handled it with ease. I'm looking at this bracket right now. I'm thinking Iowa could give them a run for their money if they match up in the Elite Eight. But up until that, I think Gonzaga has a light path to the Final Four. I personally believe that they're going to the championship. I have them chalked in to go to the championship. If you decide to pick Gonzaga to go all the way, the earlier picks in the West brackets could make or break you. So let's check into the next part. The way I'm looking at it in my brackets is I'm probably going to start down the list, seeded 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way down till we get through the 16. So let's go. Let's see. Looks like to me there is a lot of disappointing teams who are ranked higher than they should be in this Western bracket. Number 2, Iowa. They have the talent to go all the way, but they are a very hot and cold team. They have the same team that they had last year, and it doesn't seem like they've grown quite enough as much as I want to see them to take that next step. A lot of them, like Wieskamp and even sometimes Garza, they are very hot and cold, very streaky shooters. Man, I love Luka Garza. He's a lot of fun to watch, but he can get cold at times. So just take that into account. I do have them winning their first round. Also, the way I'm going to work this is I'm just going to go down the first round, stay within each division bracket, each region's bracket, and move over. So stay with me if you got your bracket in front of you. I'd highly recommend that so you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I got Iowa winning in this one, easy. Now we're moving on to number 3, Kansas. They probably would have been ranked higher. They probably would have gotten that 2 seed, but they were hit with COVID right before the conference tournament. They had to withdraw from the SEC tournament, which, or I'm sorry, not the SEC, the Big 12. And now for this tournament, 3 of their best players haven't traveled with the team, and the earliest they can join is Friday. They're going to have a lot of negative COVID testing. Testing is super serious right now. It's an unfortunate mess for Kansas. And now I don't have them winning more than 1 game, unfortunately. This is being recorded on Thursday afternoon. I'm telling you, if somehow there's news Friday morning before all the brackets are locked and they get McCormick back and a couple others, then that changes everything and void this whole part of the bracket and what I'm telling you. But for now, if you have to get it in at a certain time, Kansas, you can have them win the first game. They should win the first game, but it's tough. It's tough for these teams that have been coming back from COVID. So Kansas wins. But it's so weird to me, you guys. I'm going to take a quick break and just tell you guys, like, it's so weird to me that they're doing so heavy of testing on all these players. I mean, they're low risk. I'm not trying to get political or anything, but physically most of them that are low risk. They're healthy athletes and they're testing them like crazy, but they're going to allow 25% capacity in the stands. And you can say you have to wear masks in the stands or whatever. I guarantee you people aren't following that, because every time you look, when it pans to the fans, they got masks off, they're hugging each other, they're high-fiving each other. So basically what I feel like is it's coming down to whoever is watching them in the cancel culture and also the bottom dollar. They want money. They want fans in the stands. That's why they're willing to risk these players and fans to be out there. So it is what it is. It sucks. It's unfortunate for Kansas. It was unfortunate for Duke, who wasn't able to be in the conference tournament in the ACC because of COVID. It is what it is. I hope everybody's staying safe. That being said, back to the bracket, number 4, Virginia, another team that is also dealing with COVID issues. They won't have their entire team arrive to Indiana until Friday. So their entire team is not there until tomorrow, and we'll have to see who passes the test, who's good to go. If not, I don't quite understand. I think they said that they have 4 teams that could be the next man up. So I think Louisville's the next one up. I don't know when they're going to announce that, or if the tournament has started, if they can still plug these teams in, but it's frustrating for Virginia. And due to this and the uncertainty, I think Ohio can hit them with the upset. So I'm picking Ohio to win here. Moving down to number 5, we got 5-12 Creighton. Creighton could be upset and bounced out in the first round. It's a classic 12-5 matchup. If you ever filled out a bracket before, I'm sure if you've ever watched the bracketology on SportsCenter or anything like that, there always seems to be a 12 team upsetting a 5 seed team. I'm not a fan of the 12-5 upset. Here's some stats, okay? Over the duration of the tournament, the entire history of the tournament, the 12 seed holds a 50 win and 90 loss record against the 5 seed. So this is a 1 in 3 chance. If you pick the 12 seed right, that's great. But if you pick the wrong 12 seed, now you're not only missing that, but you're probably missing the 5 seed over there because you picked another upset. Okay, so out of those teams that have won, out of those 12 seeds that have advanced, only 21 of them have made it to the Sweet 16. So now your chances are getting even lower. And out of that, only 1 team in the history of college basketball March Madness, 1 team has made it to the Elite 8. The 5 seed, on the other hand, has made it to the championship 5 times. So what I'm getting at is don't buy into the 12-5 hype. I have Creighton winning this one. Granted, like, also this is your bracket, so just take this with a grain of salt. Know that I don't completely know what I'm talking about. And even if I did, it's March Madness for a reason, and there could be some upsets. So if you do like the 12-5, power to you. Keep it rolling. All right. Where are we at now? We are on to taking a quick break while I pull up my bracket really quick. I've been just winging this, you guys. That's pretty good. Let's see. Get that bracket up. Saucy Drippin'. That's my bracket's name. Also my DJ name if I ever become an awesome DJ. Saucy Drippin'. It's like a play on Scottie Pippen, but it's two fresh buzzwords that my nephews use. So, all right, we are back. USC number 6 is playing the winner of Thursday night's game between Wichita State Shockers, that's a tongue twister, Wichita State Shockers versus Drake. Wichita has had a past of being an underdog team that's done pretty well. I think even if they beat Drake or Drake wins, I don't think they can beat USC. The reason I say that is because USC has a player named Evan Mosley. And this guy Mosley has dominated every single team he's played against, besides, surprisingly, the Utah running Utes. I watched that game and I couldn't figure out how Utah slowed him down, but they did somehow. But it doesn't look like it's a consistent thing. And eventually USC will beat the Utes in the playoffs in their conference tournament. So I think Mosley's going to continue to dominate. I'm picking USC to beat whoever comes out of the play-in game between Wichita State and Drake. Moving on, number 7, Oregon versus number 10, VCU, Virginia Commonwealth. I can't remember. But this is a toss-up. Honestly, I have no idea how good VCU is. I didn't watch them all season. I don't want to give you guys false hope that I did and make up a bunch of things, but I do see a lot of experts picking this as an upset. But I'm going to ride with Oregon. They've been playing well lately. I think that they are probably the best team right now to make a run out of the Pac-12. So I do have Oregon winning that one. Next, we are on to the 8-9 matchup, which is number 8, Oklahoma, and number 9, Missouri. This is another toss-up. When it comes to toss-up games, I tend to lean towards whoever has the stronger conference, whoever's been playing in the stronger conference, because I believe that elevates your game and you're ready for bigger games like that. So this is my top order of conferences and how they go. So I got Big Ten, which is like your Michigan, Ohio State teams. Big 12, which is Baylor, Texas, Oklahoma State. ACC, which is North Carolina, Florida State, a few teams like that. SEC, and then Big East, and then down at the bottom, Pac-12. Although I think the top of the Pac-12 is pretty solid, just all around. I don't think Pac-12 really brought it this year. So number 8, Oklahoma and Missouri. I like Oklahoma myself. Big 12 matchup, and I just like them. So I'm going Oklahoma. Moving on. Let's go back. Let's stay in the Western Conference. So if you're still looking at your bracket, top left still, we're just moving over to the round of 32. Let me recap you with my picks. I had Gonzaga, Oklahoma, Creighton, Ohio, USC, Kansas, Oregon, and Iowa. Okay, so now we're moved on. Let's start. I have Gonzaga over Oklahoma. I think this is easy chalk. I've watched Oklahoma. They show spurts of greatness. They even got ranked pretty high for a little bit, and then they just faltered. They don't have enough offense to compete with Gonzaga. Like, I guarantee, this is my guarantee, Oklahoma will not beat Gonzaga. Okay, moving down, I got Creighton over Ohio. Although I wouldn't count Ohio out. Creighton has a player pretty solid. His name is Zagorowski. He carries the team. He's clutch. They take a little while to get going, but once they get rolling, they tend to hold on to the lead. So I got them over Ohio, or if you took the other team, Virginia number 4, I would still take them over Virginia. Yeah, I don't feel good about that. That's kind of where it gets gray area for me. So do what you want there. USC versus Kansas. If Kansas somehow gets the players back from COVID, McCormick is my main key. If McCormick is back, I will take Kansas last second if I can switch. But if not, I'm taking USC. Just a heads up, if you want to wait till the last second and check it out, that's on you. But if you want to feel more comfortable just heading in, I'd take USC. Okay, I got Iowa and Iowa, Hawkeyes beating Oregon Ducks. I think Oregon could hang with Iowa, but I don't know if they'll get out of the first round. So Iowa's my safe pick. Recap, on to the next part. We're going to the Sweet 16 in the West. Gonzaga, Creighton, USC/Kansas, depending on who I'm with, and Iowa. Okay, so now that we got that set, Gonzaga beats whoever's in their way, I think. And I believe Iowa could knock off USC or Kansas. And finally, I have Gonzaga beating Iowa and moving on to the Final Four. Although I think if Iowa does get hot and they have Luka Garza and everybody rolling, then they could definitely knock off Gonzaga. All right, that's one bracket down. Let's move to the East. And let me tell you guys about number one Michigan. Number one Michigan had my heart. Like, I watched them as the best team I've seen play all season. They earned the number one seed out in the East, but now they're shorthanded due to injury. Their biggest injury was Isaiah Livers. The guy hustled, and it feels like he was the spark of the team. This is going to be very tough for them to make the Final Four. But with one man down, and I still think that they have a quality team. It's going to be a lot harder, but they have a big man down underneath named Dickinson, and the Char King, Franz Wagner, funnest name to say in the game. They still have a better team than most with that. So they also have a former member of Michigan's Fab Five as their head coach, Mr. Juwan Howard. Howard's most likely going to win Coach of the Year, so I assume he will get his team up for these games. However, this would be part of the bracket that you can get cute with and have a lower seed, make it via Alabama, Texas, Florida State, or if you want to get a little crazy, you could even go UConn, who might be an upset, but we'll talk about these teams in a moment. Tread lightly on Michigan. I know everybody else is as well right now, so maybe this would be a time to get favorable with the number one seed and hope that they can come together, and maybe even Isaiah Livers comes at the end towards the Elite Eight, Final Four, and can help with the team, but it's not looking likely. He needs to get out of that boot first and then see how it feels. So moving on down to number two, this is Alabama. Alabama, you guys, right now playing lights out basketball. They have an extremely high 3-point proficiency. Their coach, Nate Oates, this is only his second year, and he's built that program into quite the powerhouse, led by Jalen Rusty Shackelford. These guys could be sneaky good and have a nice path to the Final Four. The only worry I have about is the drought Bama went into halfway through the season. They got all the way up to, I believe, like a 4 seed, maybe even a little bit higher. And then they just went ice cold, and now they're bouncing back. So that's good coaching. It's good player development. They very well could win the whole thing. So keep an eye out on Alabama if you want. Number three, Texas is solid. They were my sleeper pick all season. They've kind of overshined than they needed to, than I wanted them to, because now everybody is seeing how well they're playing. Like Alabama, they had a bit of a roller coaster season. They finished off with a strong win in the Big 12 championship. There's a few teams I think I have better all around than Texas, but not many. I'd probably place Gonzaga, Baylor, Illinois, Michigan, and Ohio State over Texas, but they're right with them, and they could beat them on any given game. They also have a cool story if you're into like the backgrounds of the feel-good stories. Andrew Jones is one of their top players. Jones is a leukemia survivor and is the leader of the team after fighting cancer just 3 years ago. This kid he's just a delight to listen to, if I'm being honest. And I'd recommend you check out his story. You can YouTube him. I'm sure there's an ESPN video about him on their website, anything like that. But yeah, I just think Texas is great. I think they got a fun story. They got solid big guys. They have outside shooters. They play pretty decent defense. I'm a big Texas fan right now. So moving on to number 4, Florida State, the Seminoles. This is the most overrated team in the tournament. That being said, I have this wonderfully awful gift where I talk trash on a team or a player, and then they defy me by stepping it up. So you might want to do the opposite of me, because I'm somewhat of a jinx. Experts right now are loving Florida State because they all have a huge wingspan and allow the lowest shooting percentage inside the arc. On paper, that's great, but every time I watch them, they turn the ball over nonstop, and they look like they all struggle with dribbling. They can't even catch. Like, the ball hits them, hits their hands, falls out of bounds. Too many turnovers, too many blown games. I watched against North Carolina. They almost did it again in the tournament. They lost to Notre Dame badly, very badly, and Notre Dame isn't good at all this year. So I have them winning here for now, but going deep, I'm avoiding Florida State. Some people have them going to Final Four and losing to Gonzaga. I don't see that myself. Let's go to another 5-12 potential upset. Georgetown, they do have all the ingredients for an upset. Patrick Ewing is their coach. He just led Georgetown to a Big East title upset, and the Hoyas are in the big dance. So what they did in the tournament was super impressive. I just don't know if the momentum could carry over to the big tournament. So I will be taking the Colorado Buffaloes. Colorado's a little shaky, but they have been hot lately, and they came up just a little short in the Pac-12 tournament, or else I feel like they would have possibly had a higher seed. Number 6 in the East, straight out of Utah, out of Provo or Orem, because I get those two mixed up, is the beloved and mostly hated by me, BYU Cougars. They'll play the winner of Michigan State and UCLA. So here it is. Michigan State plays and wins. If they're in this matchup, there's no doubt I'm going Michigan State. They have been hot lately. They've beat 2 number 1 seeds in this tournament and a number 2 seed throughout the season. BYU almost hung with Gonzaga and got beat by double digits, so they didn't look that impressive to me. If UCLA wins against Michigan State in the play-in game and plays BYU, I'm a little torn. You could go BYU, you could go UCLA. I would go UCLA just because of my bias against BYU. I just can't stand them. So anyways, I'm going Michigan State or UCLA, preferably Michigan State. I would feel a lot better with that. Okay. Number 7 is Uconn, and this was one of my big sleepers until the bracket came out and they were put in a horrible position. Their path to the Final Four is horrendous. I mean, they had their star player, James Bouknight, had elbow surgery, missed a few games, came back. I think they lost all but one game when Bouknight was out, but since he's returned, they are 11-3, including the Big East tournament. So I have them beating number 10 Maryland, but I currently don't see them getting past Bama. It's a possibility, but I don't currently see it. Last up is an 8-9 matchup between LSU and the St. Bonaventura Bonnies. Another fun nickname there. I think LSU will win this and give Michigan a run for their money. Toss-up game, do what you want. I just don't have them go past the next round, I don't think. So recap of the East, going top to bottom. We got Michigan, LSU, Colorado, Florida State, Michigan State, Texas, UConn, and Alabama. Okay, Michigan versus LSU. I got this one as a close game, but I still think Michigan State wins. If it's UCLA or BYU that you're going with, I think I'll still go LSU. I have Colorado getting the upset against Florida State. So this is my long shot. I don't have a lot of credibility why I'm doing this, a lot of reasoning why I'm doing this, other than Florida State has burned me gambling so much, and I've watched them just implode, and it disgusts me how poor they are and how highly they're ranked. So anyways, I'm going number 5 over number 4, Florida State. I got Texas beating Alabama. This is a toss-up. It really is. I think Texas is better built for the tournament. Alabama is so hot right now. Roll Tide if you want. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be Roll Tide in this time, but then they move on to Michigan, and so let's see. So I have Michigan beating Colorado, and then Texas. I have Texas beating Michigan. So this is where I was talking about you can get cute with your bracket. If you want to get away from a number 1 because everybody else is probably going number 1, you want to fade Michigan because they are a question right now. They could go all the way, who knows? But right now they are currently a question and they make me nervous. So I have Texas, who just won the Big 12, proven that they're winning. Their camaraderie is great right now. I'm rolling with Texas. They make it to my Final Four. Cool. We are halfway through my bracket. Let's move to the South region. This is number 1. Look at the Baylor Bears. This was my team to beat all season. They had excellent chemistry. They find the extra pass. They look so good. They do it all. Baylor had to put some games on hold due to COVID, and they haven't been right since, unfortunately. They started off slow. They lost a game. They barely won a game. It looked like they were getting on track, and then they lost in the tournament, and they didn't look that great. So I was going to have them or Michigan win the whole thing, now I'm starting to get cold feet, and I'm hoping I don't regret it. But they have a very favorable path to the tournament to make it to the Final Four. So I have them winning this first game. Number 2 is Ohio State. I absolutely love Ohio State. This has been my favorite team to watch the entire tournament, or the entire season, excuse me. And I think they are a long shot to win it all, but I definitely think they could win it. They have 5 players on their team that are all averaging double-digit points. What this tells me is they're so well-rounded that if anybody gets fouled out, foul trouble, injured, somebody's going to be able to step up. When it comes to the final shot, they're going to have to guard everybody, as opposed to where everybody's going to focus on a Cade Cunningham if they're against Oklahoma State, or Evan Mobley against USC. They can spread the ball. I really love Ohio State. They win and move on. Number 3 is Arkansas. Arkansas is a hot team that is essentially a one-man show. They have an elite scorer named Moses Moody. Moody is likely to be a first-round pick, possibly top 10. That being said, Arkansas is a team who cannot play defense consistently, and I don't trust them. This is my huge, big upset pick. I have number 14, Colgate, beating them. These are both fast-paced offenses, don't play any defense. If you're a gambler, take the over, because it's going to go over. If you like high-scoring games, no defense, this is a must-watch game for you. I think Colgate can run them out and be the upset of the tournament. Like I said, big risk. Don't follow me if you don't feel comfortable. Let's see. Number 4, Purdue. Purdue's ranked a little higher than I wanted them to. I mean, they're Big Ten, so they're solid. They hang with the big teams, but they lose to bad teams. So they basically play to their competition, and I'm picking them because they have a favorable ranking. That's basically where I'm at. So I got Purdue being North Texas. Okay, remember all that 12-5 nonsense I told you to avoid? Well, I'm going to have you forget everything that I said about that, because I'm taking a 12-5 upset here. This is strictly because number 5, Villanova, lost their best player, Colin Gillespie, after he tore his ACL. I don't think Villanova can change their game plan this late of the season, and it ran strictly through Gillespie. He's amazing at defense, scoring. He does it all. I really like the Winthrop Golden Eagles. I've watched them a few times. They're a pretty good team. I feel like people might be sleeping on them. But Villanova's looked bad ever since Gillespie's gone down. So I have Villanova upsetting the 12-5 upset. Have them moving on. I have number 6, Texas Tech, beating Utah State. I hope I'm wrong. I'm rooting for the Aggies, but I think Texas Tech's too good and talented for Utah State to handle. Number 7, Florida. I have them beating number 10, Virginia, but that could change. I like Florida because they've been more consistent. Virginia Tech, not Virginia. But they've been more consistent than Virginia Tech, and I don't know where I'm at. Virginia Tech does have more talent. Sorry, I'm stuttering because I'm starting to question myself, but I'm going Florida. Number 7, Florida wins. Moving on, number 8, North Carolina, and number 9, Wisconsin. At the start of this season, they would not have been 8 or 9. They would have been much, much higher. But these are 2 very disappointing teams. They can look good at times, but so bad most of the season. I'm going to go with North Carolina because I feel they've shown me more as of late. But whoever you take here, recommend them going out in the next round. Okay, quick recap. Next round, we're going to have Baylor versus North Carolina. Winthrop as the upset against number 4, Purdue. Texas Tech against another upset, Colgate. And then Florida versus Ohio State. In the next round, Baylor beats a sloppy North Carolina or Wisconsin team. I don't care who you put up against them. I think Baylor's going to advance. Let's see. Purdue, number 4. I'm going to go with them over Winthrop. There could be another upset, but I think I'm going to play it safe with Purdue. That's the only reason I keep taking Purdue, is they're somewhat safe. Okay, Texas Tech, they're going to end Colgate's Cinderella story chances, and Texas Tech moves on. And then number 2, Ohio State beats Florida. Okay, moving forward, I got Baylor beating Florida, and Ohio State beats Texas Tech, leading me to my toughest decision of the bracket. Who do I take, Baylor or Ohio State? I'm going with Ohio State. Number 2 upsets number 1. This might be betting with my heart because I've enjoyed them so much this season, but I truly believe the Buckeyes can win. And this is, I feel like, going to be my biggest challenge. And hopefully that's what puts me over to win the bracket this year. Okay. We are on to the final region in our bracket, the North. Who's going to be the king of the North other than Jon Snow? Number one, we have the Illinois Fighting Illini. They've looked like the best team the last couple of weeks, and they are scary. Pick them for a guaranteed 2 wins. They got this big monster, looks like Shaq or Zion Williamson in the paint, named Kofi Cockburn. He's kind of a wild card. He does get frustrated, and when he's frustrated, I've noticed he quits boxing out, going for rebounds, things like that. But as of late, I haven't seen any of that. They've got a top draft pick in A.O. Dosunmu, who was out a few games. I'm guessing it was a broken nose. I forgot to check on that, but he's been wearing the Batman mask, has the big hair, lights out shooter, plays great D. Love him. Also, they got Frazier on the corner if they're double teaming him. It's a good all around team. So Illinois, solid pick. Number 2, Houston. I don't know what Houston is. They remind me of what Gonzaga used to be before they came to be a reliable team. Gonzaga used to dominate the weak conference, and for the longest time, they would get a high ranking and they would blow it early in the tournament. This is what I think will happen to Houston, although I have many who disagree with me. Even amongst my friends are telling me that they think Houston's going to go far, if not win the whole thing. So I could see Cleveland State upsetting them. I have them currently losing next round to Rutgers, but that has changed due to some recent events. I'll explain that to you when I get to Rutgers. Number 3 is West Virginia, and they're going to be a team I believe that will probably disappoint me. I always think they got a good team. They got that good coach, Bob Huggins, the Huggy Bear. He looks like the meanest old get off my lawn grumpy man, but he always produces good teams. Doesn't do so well in the tournament. I think that's going to change this year because they actually did well about 2 years ago when we had our last tournament. So anyways, I got them winning. Number 4, Oklahoma State. So if you guys just want to watch a superstar and get to them before they make it to the NBA, so you can do the whole, I knew them when they were in college, I knew them before they were good kind of thing. This is the dude you want to watch. Most likely the number 1 draft pick in the NBA draft this year. His name is Cade Cunningham from Oklahoma State. This team, in my opinion, and also another analyst's opinion who I kind of stole this from, is they have grown more than any team from start to finish this season. They looked amazing against Texas. They took them to the end. They could have easily beat them and been the Big 12 champions. I really like Oklahoma State. Let's see. The only thing that I don't like is their path to the championship is rough. I feel like they were thrown into a very tough region. They got a little bit lower seed than they should have. If you want to take them far, I applaud you. I think that that's an excellent choice. I won't fault you on that, but I only have them winning a couple games, and that could be reaching because it's tough for them. Okay, number 5, Tennessee. Very frustrating team for me. They have 2 NBA first rounders on their team, but they seem like they don't have a lot of chemistry. They start off slow, they finish strong, but a lot of the times it's just a little too late for them to finish, or they start off strong and then just get complacent and finish off slow and let teams catch up. So they've been very, very flaky up and down. They look like they're playing well. They took Alabama to the Big 12 championship all the way down to the wire. It came down to a game-winning shot, which Alabama hit right after Tennessee hit a potential game-winning shot. So they were hanging with them. I do have them beating Oregon State, who did win the Pac-12. I think Oregon State's a little overrated right now. They're playing well, but I still think they're overrated. Okay, so everything's been chalk so far, but here comes my upset in this region. I have the number 11 Syracuse Orangemen upsetting number 6 San Diego State. Okay, so Syracuse has been one of the hottest teams, and they barely got in. They have a great coach in Jim Boeheim. If you're struggling, if you don't know which way to go on 2 teams, always look at the coach. If it's a reliable, historically good coach, roll with the coach. So Jim Boeheim, and right now he has his son, Buddy Boeheim, who's grown into a leader. They have a few other good players. Elijah Hughes, who plays for the Jazz with them last year. So unfortunately they're missing him, but they have a decent team enough that they were one of the last teams to get in the tournament, but I think they have a good chance to win 1 and possibly 2 games. So I have them beating San Diego State. I'm sorry, San Diego State. You guys make it every year. You have a good record against the weak conference, and then they disappoint. So if you're a San Diego State fan, I apologize. or a Mountain West fan, I don't have them going very far. Okay. Upset for me, not a huge upset. I got a 10 beating a 7 with Rutgers over Clemson. Rutgers, they make mistakes and they try and look like the and one highlight reels that we used to watch and love. They're flashy. They show a lot of fun dunks, cool passes, but a lot of the times it backfires on them. Geo Baker, he gets cute. He tries to go between the legs. It doesn't work. Anyways, I do have them winning. I think it's a risk, but I have them winning. Okay, number 8 and 9 is Loyola and Georgia Tech. Toss up. I don't have much input here. I'm going Georgia Tech for no particular reason. They haven't been in the tournament for a while. I think they're hungry. So, recap. I have Illinois, Georgia Tech, Tennessee, Oklahoma State, Syracuse, West Virginia, Rutgers, and Houston going to the round of 32. Okay, round of 32, Illinois moves along easily. I have Oklahoma State stepping up and upsetting Tennessee, although it could go either way. You just don't know what you have in Tennessee. But I think Oklahoma State's playing great basketball right now. I keep them moving. I have West Virginia beating Syracuse, and then I have Rutgers upsetting number 2 Houston, number 10 beating number 2, but I'm debating changing my pick. Their star point guard, Geo Baker, took to Twitter about injustices regarding the NCAA making money off all of players' likenesses. Now he has become the spokesperson of this issue, and it sounds like they're going to be doing a protest either today or tomorrow before the games. I think they are planning on playing the games. It's just a quick, hey, look at this. We want our money. I don't even think they're asking the colleges to pay them. I think they're just asking to say, hey, let me go do an Arby's commercial. Let me go do a Nike commercial, like hook it up. But anyways, Geo Baker that's where he's at right now. If it works out for him, I think that's great, but I don't feel like his head is in the tournament now. I feel like he's kind of been thrown into this after the comments he's made and got so much of a following from other players that he's the face of this right now. And I think he's too focused on external things that I've switched back to Houston winning. Okay. Anyways, I have Illinois in the next round beating OK State, and I have West Virginia beating Houston. That could go either way. Like I said, I don't know how good Houston is, and I really believe in Illinois, but I also am worried about OK State knocking them off. So anyways, Illinois wins in the Elite Eight, and they move to the Final Four. So I got them beating Oklahoma State. So now my Final Four, I have Gonzaga, Texas, Ohio State, and Illinois. I think Texas will beat Gonzaga, but I don't want to mess up my bracket. I'm not getting that risky this late, and I don't want to miss out on a payday. So anyways, I have Gonzaga advancing to the championship. On the other side, I have Illinois beating Ohio State. Could go either way. I feel like Illinois has the better chance of getting to that Final Four than Ohio State does, so that's why I'm being safe there. And finally, let's get to my champion, Gonzaga versus Illinois. I have Illinois fighting Illini. They are my champions. All right. Shoot me some messages. I'm sure I'm friends with a lot of you on Facebook. If you want to follow the Talk Tirade with Stabler and Friends, I'm currently about to change it to just Stabler and Friends. We don't need the Talk Tirade. It's just me and my friends, or just me when I don't have any friends with me. Hit me up on Twitter at The Real Stabler, or just comment below on the YouTube page. We should be on Spotify and Apple Music as well. Please, if you enjoyed what you heard, like and share. And best of luck with your picks. And also, I will put a link below. If you do want to get into our tournament, you got to get in by tonight or early tomorrow and have the money Venmo'd. But I'll send a link if you want to get in our bracket. So thank you guys so much for listening. I've had a lot of fun. It's good to be back. And take care, guys. Best of luck with your brackets.